Hello everyone. Before we start the video presentation, I would like to introduce my partners with everyone. We have Kritika, Hakeem, Paminda and Kuldeep in our group. We will be talking about how Victoria can be promoted as an international tourist destination.
And I think there are many factors to promote Victoria as an international destination, like we have Melbourne Cricket Ground, Crown, Melbourne Aquarium, and so on. We have the largest public transport system throughout Victoria. With the help of public transport system, we can go anywhere in Victoria, and in Melbourne CBD, tram system is free for everyone just to explore and experience what we have. And we have Royal Botanic Garden, art museum and art galleries to explore. And last but not least, we have the oldest culture in the world, which is followed by Aboriginals. And I think these are the main factors to attract tourists from different countries.
Aboriginal culture is one of the oldest culture in the world. Journey through Aboriginal Victoria for a traditional and contemporary experience for this Asian land. Moreover, unique traditional of southeastern Australia's first people, culturally significant sites, renowned art, original craft and living history, which reaches back more than 60,000 years. Culture's visits to culture centres, national parks, wetlands and private art galleries can give more information about Aboriginal culture. However, Aboriginal's flag has a very deep meaning. Black colour represents the Aboriginal people of Australia. Yellow represents the sun, the giver of life and protector. Red represents the red earth, ochre and spiritual relation to the land. This flag has first flown in Victoria on 12 July 1971. The very fun fact is, Aboriginal culture are acknowledged as the first maker of bread. Their paintings are well known. Ochre used to paint on rocks. Their art is centered on storytelling. It is used as a chronicle to convey knowledge to land, events, and beliefs of the Aboriginal people. Especially the boomerang. The purpose of the boomerang in the Aboriginal life was for hitting the target. Men used the boomerang for hunting animals, as women used this to digging stick for gathering food. By having the oldest culture on the earth and the oldest living population in the world, this is something very unique and should be used to attract tourists from all over the world. We even interviewed our faculty head of BTHM regarding her thoughts on Melbourne as a tourist destination.
I think Melbourne has a lot more potential perhaps than what it has currently seen as in terms of a cultural centre and an event centre. I think it's developing even more now in recent times to be more of a creative capital. We are changing our infrastructure in terms of developing large areas of galleries and creative spaces down on the south side of the Yarra River. And that's been in a process really since the 1980s, but recently had a development done in terms of that precinct there. I think in terms of Melbourne's attractiveness, it's renowned for its livability,
yes.
but it really should be reflected in sort of what we call the visitability. It's a difficult word, but the ability for visitors when they come to feel like they're a guest, and part of that welcoming of visitors is to have a really happy and inviting host community. So to have a very strong host community, we need to really support issues like homelessness and the cleanliness and the safety of the city.
Yeah.
And I think we need a lot of sort of social support from that angle to sort of clean that up. I think we recently have a new mayor and she's going to tackle that element of homelessness. I think as the most livable city in the world, we really don't need that element there. So social equity, and really important that we have an inviting and welcoming host community. I think part of that too, we've got our host community in Victoria is really starting to acknowledge our first Indigenous people as well. So that can be really supported by, well, we've got a new book just recently brought out that has all the tours that are relevant to Indigenous culture. And so we're very aware of our European culture since 1835 when the first white people came to Melbourne, but have really turned our back on a lot of the spirit of Melbourne. So I think that will really help the host community to grow and feel a pride, as well as extending to the rest of Victoria. So that's good. Our environment's another really positive aspect or asset for Melbourne, and a lot of people come to Melbourne and then they go down to visit Phillip Island for the penguins.
Definitely.
So they might do that as a day trip.
Yeah.
And of course our events and our business is really important. So we really need to make sure we've got that infrastructure in place for those. I think Melbourne is also a great place for studying for international students. So part of a welcoming host community would be to ensure our international students are really enjoying themselves and learning a lot and being able to live and work while they're studying. And of course that has a flow on for motivating parents to come to visit. So then we're opening up a whole new group to come and be motivated to visit, or especially when you guys are graduating.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so I think the host community,
Yes.
having the infrastructure for business and for events, and then having a really capitalising on our VFR, our Visiting Friends and Relations sector.
Okay. So do you reckon that's the way we can also promote Melbourne as an international tourist destination as well?
Yeah, I think so. With as an international international destination, especially reflecting back on that spirit of country. Everybody knows Uluru and the Great Barrier Reef, and people are really looking for something different when they're travelling these days, and to tap into one of the oldest ongoing Indigenous cultures in the world, like 60 to 80,000 years old. It makes the pyramids look like little new babies in comparison. So people are really searching for that identity and that sort of, I think what we call sort of self-actualisation. Looking at the spirit. So we go to India and we can see the spirit of religion and culture, or different places, but I think we really need to tap into that. And be proud of it.
And be proud of it.
And then we've got little directories that can really help us navigate to say, this is easy to do. You can go to the Melbourne's Botanical Gardens and do an Aboriginal cultural walk, or go elsewhere, to other destinations.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much.
No worries.
Yes.